Hey, welcome to another episode of Cooking While Under Quarantine with Deric Lipski. This is episode 3. Today we're going to be doing a chicken marsala. Sounds kind of complicated for a Polak, but pretty sure I can get it done in here. So, some of the ingredients we're going to need today to get started. We're going to need a couple things. Obviously, you need the chicken. This package I cut in half. This is 5.5 pounds, so half of that. So, what is that? Almost 3 pounds, 2.5, 3 pounds of chicken. We're going to need that. We're going to do two things with it. Number one, we're going to have to fry it. We're going to have to roll it in a little flour, a little bit of cornstarch, onion powder, garlic powder, salt and pepper in the bag. Roll it, get it, cut it into fillets, get it into the pan, fry it, and get it almost done. Not all the way done, but almost done. After that, we're going to talk about adding in the mushroom. Take it out of the pan, add in the mushrooms, some shallots, some heavy cream, some Marsala sauce, and if you got the time, if we need some time for that, and then we're going to make it with linguine. You can make this with angel hair, regular spaghetti, whatever you want. I like linguine. I feel like it holds the sauce a little better. We'll also need, I almost forgot, we're also going to need a little bit of chicken stock as well. So what we're going to be looking to do is create, a Marsala sauce. And basically the main parts of that is going to be the chicken stock, the scrapings of the pan was left from frying the chicken, the Marsala sauce, and the heavy cream. Those cooked down, combined with the shallots and the mushroom, and the thyme is going to transform it in kind of like a gravy almost. And then we add in the chicken, cook it, serve it, bada bing, bada boom, we're done. So this shouldn't take too long today. I know it looks like a lot, it looks like it's complicated. We're going to work your way through it. I got 2 cutting boards, only because I had to cut chicken up for another meal that we're prepping. But had I not done that, I would have cut the mushrooms first, then use the same board to cut the chicken, but you can't do that now because you can't cross-contaminate. So we have a certain board for the chicken, and we have one for vegetable with the special vegetable knife. So we're going to get started on this. I'm going to start the prep work, and I will see you on step 1. Hey, we're back for step 1. So basically what I've done off camera, because you guys don't want to see me doing this is going to take forever, I'm trying to get the time, is I cut up the shallots and the garlic and I blended them. You'll see when I put that into the marsala and we're frying at that stage. I also did half a pack of that thyme, so I just kind of stripped it as much as I could. I cut the chicken up, and basically what I did was I cut it up. I took each breast, which is still partially frozen, which is the easiest way to cut it. I kind of laid it down, then cross-cut it underneath, and I got 3 layers out of each one, and then I took each one of those layers and cut it in half. So there was 3 breasts there. I roughly got 9 pieces, maybe a little less, maybe 9 or 10. I'm sorry, 9 or 8 pieces in there. And then what we're going to do now is get ready to broil the chicken. So I prepped everything. I also took the mushrooms and cut them as well. So these were whole mushrooms. They're good size. I used 2 boxes. With 3 pieces of chicken, 2 packs of mushrooms is pretty good. The big ones we cut in half. The little ones we just leave little because they're tiny, so they'll still be good. But you got about 2 pounds of mushrooms there, which is a good amount that's going to go with this. Because believe it or not, even the kids who don't like mushrooms like it. My kids like it. And so what we're going to do now is broil the chicken. Now ideally, you guys would want exact measurements, and any good cooking show, Hollywood production would give it to you. I'm going to more than eye it and just kind of put some in a bag. So I put a good amount of that in the bag. I don't know what it is. Maybe 2 cups, maybe 2.5. And I keep my flour in a Ziploc bag so I can put it back into the cabinet, because you know how when flour's open it goes everywhere. So it goes back in here, but it won't get powder everywhere. And then what we do is put some pepper in there. And this is going to be a mixture. A little bit of garlic powder. Yeah, you're looking at probably 2 tablespoons each one of these that I'm doing. I'm just eyeing it. A little bit of cornstarch. Again, probably 2 tablespoons, somewhere around there. And then what I like to do is, before I put in the chicken, I like to mix it up really good. And for me, I put it on a paper plate when I'm done, just because I don't want to dirty another dish, and I know I don't want to waste. But I got a lot of kids, and so the less dishes I make, that means we can fit them all into the dishwasher. Ideally, you want to use glass because you can wash it, but I don't run a restaurant, so this is the way I got to do it. So I'm just going to slide, and you guys can see I kind of cut this pretty thin. And there was like a third of a breast, and then I cut that in half. These would be good, but like, you know, you could call them medallions. Some people call them medallions. We'll put half of it in there. Try that first. And then it's just like shaping it. You know, let's get a real good coating of it. Now I just got to massage it in a little bit. And you just shake it, flip it, make sure it's all coated. Good. Shake it, flip it. It's all coated. And some of the steps when I cook, I try to cut out for you guys just so the show doesn't go that long. Because again, I'm the producer, I'm the TV guy, I'm the star, I'm the credits, I'm everything. So I'm trying to keep this as simple as possible. But all we're trying to do here is get it nicely coated. Now we take the last part of it and get that into. And just so you know, when I was cutting the chicken, when I cut it in half, I cut off all the fat I could find, all the pieces that kind of weird piece. When you look at a breast, it kind of where maybe we were attached to the bone. I cut those off. I don't like those in my mix. Just give it a really good shape. Not too bad. You don't squeeze too much, because if you squeeze that bag, it's going to pop open, and you're not going to want to clean up any of the stuff that's there afterwards. This one didn't see that one was curled up in the ball, so it didn't get all coated, but it's going to be coated. And so what you want to do with this stuff is typically, after you finish coating here, you want to set it up in the refrigerator, let it set for half an hour. But for me, I'm actually filming at 6:42 at night. My kids are starving, so I don't have the luxury of letting it sit. I might let it sit for a couple minutes, but not more than that. I'm going to get started with this meal, make sure we get on the way and get stuff going. So the next step here is to take the canola oil. Oh, it's not even open yet. And what we're going to do is just give the pan a hefty coating. So maybe 1/8 of an inch across it. And this is a great pan, especially for this kind of stove. I got this pan at Restaurant Depot. It was only like 25 bucks, and we have some real expensive pans here, but out of all of them, that's the one I go to all the time for cooking. I love it. I don't know if it's just restaurant grade, whatever it is. It just cooks better, evenly. It's better for the, you know, I have propane here for the stove, so it's better for that. So I'm going to get that warmed up, change the camera so you can see how I'm frying this, how long we're going to do it, and then we'll see it step 2. Hey, so here we're back. We're getting ready to put the chicken into the grease. You can hear it make a little bit of a ding noise. I just put a little drop of water from my hand just from the sink. Just, you can hear that that's getting hot, so it's time to put it in. So what I'm going to do is get these in there. Try to cook it if we can cook it in 2 batches, it makes it a lot easier instead of doing 3. Hopefully I can get it all done in 2. Could actually wait it's been a little bit hotter, but that's fine. It's going to heat up as I'm doing it. That's a big piece. I should have cut that one down. Okay. I hope that's half of it. With that big piece, it probably is. So we're going to let this fry for probably, I would say, 5 or 6 minutes, maybe 3 minutes on one side and then 3 on the other. And then when I take it out of there, I can't use paper at that point. I have to use glass, so I just put a paper towel on it, just like when you're making bacon, just to get any kind of extra oil off of the chicken as much as you can while you do it. This is also another method I do when I do a wine chicken, which is something different. But instead of using just the flour, I actually put a little grated cheese, Parmesan cheese, into the bag. When I fry it, it gives the crust a little extra crust. I don't know what you call it. A little extra crusty. So basically, when I'm doing this, I got 2 tools. You can use whatever you want. I choose to use the wooden one because it doesn't melt in the heat. It just helps me turn it. But it's only been a minute right now. And I keep the oil here because I just don't know if I'm going to need more or not. So we're going to fry this up. Again, 5 minutes, 5 or 6 minutes. Let's just call it 6. 3 minutes each side.
3 minutes, take it out. And again, we want it cooked, but we don't want it all the way cooked because it's going to cook also on the Marsala sauce as well. So I'll see you when we're on the next step. Okay, and we're back. So we got the chicken done. Now we're doing the mushrooms. So basically first, I put in 2 tablespoons of butter. Oh, jeez. We're going to throw in the mushrooms, and this is on low heat. It's on low heat, so basically I'm just going to turn these things for about 2 to 3 minutes, kind of get them to wilt down a little bit. Then I'm going to add the shallots and garlic. And again, you can do 1 medium to 1 large shallot or 2 small. And I put in 3 cloves. I think I did 4 cloves of garlic on this one. Again, I'm not getting exact measurements, but roughly. And all we want to do with these mushrooms is kind of get them going, get them browned up a little bit. You can always see they're getting some of the stuff that was on the chicken, which is good. And I'll show you what the chicken came out looking like. So when we look at this chicken, we're not talking KFC. This isn't KFC, this isn't Popeyes. You know, this is, but this also isn't Thurston Howell aristocrat stuff either. This is just a light glaze on them, a light layer of crust, because remember, this is Marsala chicken. This isn't, you know, we're not going to KFC and getting coleslaw and potatoes and corn on the cob. You just want a little crust on there because the Marsala sauce will interact that very nicely. So when you see those, it's, you know, and again, if I had let it sit for half an hour, I probably would have had a little bit more crust than that. But I'm happy with that crust, the way it came out, because it's light, and this is a light meal. What you guys don't see is out of the shot here is my linguine pot. So I got my water boiling because this was going to all go together pretty quickly once I get these things done. So I'm going to cook these mushrooms for about 3 minutes, maybe 4. The original recipe only called for 8 ounces. I put 2 packs, so I got 16 ounces. So I may actually end up cooking them for 5 or 6 minutes, just, you know, constantly turning them. I like to cook them low and slow. You know how it works, like anything else. Once I feel they're at a certain level, I like them a little al dente. I don't want them like wilted. I definitely want them with a little crunch to them, so they still feel kind of fresh. I will throw the shallots in, and then we're going to do the cream, the wine, and the chicken stock. And then I'm going to take this wooden spoon, and with the stock's in there, we're going to try to deglaze the pan a little bit and get all that goodiness in there. We'll also throw the thyme in as well. So stick around. Step 3 is going to be coming up. Oh, 4, I think. Step 4 is coming up. Hey, we're back on step 4. So as you can see, the mushrooms with the butter have already created sort of a little bit of a sauce going on there. So we're going to add the shallots and the garlic into the sauce. Get that in the mix. I just want to cook these down a little bit. Definitely want these cooked. The shallots are a little bit different than onion because they definitely give off a little stronger taste, but it comes out nice mixed with the Marsala. So I'm going to let this cook for 2 more minutes and just wilt. Oh, I think I hear this. I think I hear the water boiling. Linguine. So basically I'm going to do 2 boxes because I have a big family. So, and I put some oil and salt in the pan. For this you can do that because it keeps the linguine separated. But if you put oil and salt when you make a spaghetti, it will keep the spaghetti from sticking, but it'll also keep the sauce from sticking to the spaghetti. So this, in this case, we don't have to worry about that because we're creating a nice rich gravy here for the chicken. So that's a little bit, it's going to run a little bit differently. And I got a big pot here, so I don't have to break up this linguine. It's going to cook whole. You know, sometimes you got to break it to get in there. This one I don't have to do that. So this is going to just get that down a little bit. And then the next step of this is going to be putting in the chicken broth, the heavy cream, and the Marsala. So it's 2/3 a cup for each one of those things. So 2/3 cup Marsala sauce, 2/3 cup heavy cream, and 2/3 cup chicken broth. I cut back the cream a little bit. Last time I made this, I I thought it had too much cream in it, so I didn't put 2/3. I put a whisper under 2/3, and I put a little more of the Marsala in there. And you can see it looks white. It looks white. Oh, almost forgot. Put the time in. Get the time. Hey, these are dad jokes. You guys gotta get this. This is dad jokes. You know? You're in Red Sox Nation over there. This is all we do. This is how we do it. All right, so turn this. I can hear that bubbling, so I got to turn that down a little bit. I don't want them to cook too fast. Alexa, set timer for 10 minutes.
10 minutes, starting now.
My assistant. Alexa, who's the man?
You are.
Damn right I am. So I'm going to cook this down until it turns into a brown sauce. Now that's going to take me anywhere between 8 minutes and 15 minutes. It really depends on the pan, how much of the brown sauce I got from the chicken in there, how much gravy the mushrooms made, and it comes together. You'll see it as I get to the next step. Right now it looks like cream. Once we get to that little more brown sauce, we're going to throw the chicken back into this, let that cook for another 5 or 10 minutes, and that's it. It's done. So stay tuned for the next step, step 5 in this recipe. Oh, and as far as the ingredients go, I didn't show you guys. As far as the chicken broth, I use the Swanson. You can use whatever brand you want. I got this one. As far as the cream, I used Hood's Heavy Cream. And as far as the Marsala, I used a Cribbery. I don't know. It's one of the ones that they had. They said it's good for cooking, so that's what I grabbed. So I almost forgot to tell you which ingredients that I used. Okay, we're back. We're about ready to throw in the chicken. The sauce is browned up a little bit. I got to add the chicken to get even more brown, so we're just going to start putting it in pretty much all over the place and letting it recook again and absorb the Marsala sauce. And this as well is going to help create more of that browning sauce effect, and it gives it that certain flavor that you come to expect when you get a Marsala, you know. When I get Marsala out, believe it or not, I'm not a huge tomato guy. I'm not really a huge fan of tomatoes at all. I kind of hate tomatoes, to be honest with you. When I go to Italian restaurants, I always try to get Marsala. That's one of the things I can eat in an Italian dish that I like. Versus, you know, linguine and clam sauce or something. So typically the sauce, when I get it, comes in 2 different ways. Either it comes really, really dark brown like a gravy, or it comes creamy. So I'm going to cook this down a little bit more until it gets a little more brownish, because I like it a little bit more browner than this. Is still looks a little creamy, but now that we have the chicken in there, some of that stuffing is going to kind of go into the sauce itself and add a little bit more zest to it as well. And I think the linguiça is going to be ready to be strained in about 10 seconds. So, get my gloves out. And we'll drain this and we'll let this linguiça sit for, linguine sit for a couple minutes. Alexa, stop timer. Thank you. All right. And I like to use a metal strainer with this, because if you can't, if you put this on plastic, it's no good. So let that sit in there. Some of the heat die off of it and really get dry, so that when we put this Marsala sauce, it really kind of gets in there and absorbs it. And the next step for us should be just plating it and going from there. So we'll see you at the plating ceremony. Okay, we're back. We're about ready to throw in the chicken. The sauce is browned up a little bit. I got to add the chicken to get even more brown, so we're just going to start putting it in pretty much all over the place and letting it recook again and absorb the Marsala sauce. And this as well is going to help create more of that browning sauce effect, and it gives it that certain flavor that you come to expect when you get a Marsala, you know. When I get Marsala out, believe it or not, I'm not a huge tomato guy. I'm not really a huge fan of tomatoes at all. I kind of hate tomatoes, to be honest with you. When I go to Italian restaurants, I always try to get Marsala. That's one of the things I can eat in an Italian dish that I like. Versus, linguine and clam sauce or something. So typically the sauce, when I get it, comes in 2 different ways. Either it comes really, really dark brown like a gravy,
where it comes creamy. So I'm going to cook this down a little bit more until it gets a little more brownish, because I like it a little bit more browner than this. Is still a little creamy, but now that we have the chicken in there, some of that stuffing is going to kind of go into the sauce itself and add a little bit more zest to it as well. And I think the linguiça is going to be ready to be strained in about 10 seconds. So, get my gloves out. And we'll drain this and we'll let this linguiça sit for, I'm sorry, the linguine sit for a couple minutes. Alexa, stop timer. Thank you. All right. And I like to use a metal strainer with this, because if you can't, if you put this on plastic, it's no good. So let that sit in there. Some of the heat die off of it and really get dry, so that when we put this Marsala sauce, it really kind of gets in there and absorbs it. And the next step for us should be just plating it and going from there. So we'll see you at the plating ceremony. So quickly, guys, just to give you an idea of what it looks like. Remember, it looked almost like milky earlier. Now that we've cooked it down, you can see it has sort of a tannish look to it. It's almost like a light brown. Yeah. That's what we're looking for. So we're going to be ready to plate this in about 2 seconds. And we made it. We're at the final part of this long journey that we made together. Hopefully it was fun for you. So basically what I'm going to do is just kind of get the linguiça, the linguine on the plate. And basically what I'm going to do is give it a couple nice pieces of chicken. Scoop up some shrooms and some sauce on there. And then you can do it a light garnish of parsley, even though there's some thyme in there. Well, this really isn't going as I planned it to go. But, there we go. So, that's it. Chicken Marsala. I hope you enjoyed this episode. Tune in next time. We're going to do some, I think we're going to do a special, like 2-minute episode of a special drink I like to make. And then we have, I think the next one we're going to make is chicken teriyaki, so tune into that one. And I hope you guys enjoy these meals. Stay safe, stay in quarantine, take care of your family. I think you kids are going to love this.